Okay, welcome back to the Secret Underground Lair. So today we have the top firmly glued onto the back. Legs are attached here, just loosely, but well, I mean, they're glued in place, but they're glued and pinned. So what I'll be doing today is attaching the bottom, which will require some pin nails, and glue and pin nails through the bottom. A large nail that'll be set through the top here to hold this in place, and then screws through the back into the back of the legs. And then we'll move on to bending our little banding that'll go on the front of the table. That's what we're up to today. So starting our festivities today, I'm going to be drilling a hole through here, through which I can put this 3-inch finishing nail. I'll be drilling a small hole, probably, I think this is a 3/16 bit. So a 3/16 bit will be used to get into the table portion, like the bottom of the table. And I'm going to drill out a slightly larger hole through the leg, about 3/4 of the way through the leg, because again, I don't want the binding so much to be in the leg. I want the binding to be in the bottom of the table. So I'm going to load up this bit first. That'll get me through the leg and into the table. Then I'm going to take the top off and drill a little bit deeper into the table. Come back and drill this into the leg. So multi-step operation, but away we go. So I've placed some clamps on the piece here just to make sure that the bottom portion doesn't move around in any way while I drill this hole. And I've got my bit set. This hole and the nail in it are going to be covered up by the banding, so I don't have to worry too much about that, but I do want to make sure I'm going to go straight into the bottom shelf. Okay, now I can take out the bottom and drill a little bit deeper. Okay, we'll take the bottom out. And you can see the hole that we've drilled here. So we're just going to make that go a little deeper. Okay, I've got that hole drilled where I want it. I'm going to drill out this hole. I'm going to put the bottom back in just to provide the support for the leg here. I don't like it hanging just by the pin if I can avoid it. I do want to go about 3/4 of the way through. And I say about. So I want the drill bit to go about that deep. And we'll just follow the existing pilot hole. Okay, so that's drilled now. What we can do at this point is glue and nail the bottom to the back. So I'm going to flip the table on its top and we'll get that glued and nailed. Okay, we're good to glue in here. I've got the top positioned, or the bottom positioned. I have these little clamps in place just to hold the top from falling down too far. And I got a couple bar clamps ready to put on the piece to just kind of clamp it in tight while we put in some nails to tack it in place. So let's go with the glue. And it just sits nicely in place because we have the clamps on the bottom, so that's helpful. And use our nail gun and put some nails in. I'll just do a little bit of cleanup on that glue. There will be a little bit more sanding yet to do before we apply the finish. Just make sure that we get rid of any glue marks. Nothing worse than trying to stain over glue. So I'm just going through here and getting rid of any glue that's squeezed out here. And there's a bit. I'm okay to remove these clamps because the piece is now glued and tacked in. That's our table. And just stand up on its legs. What I can do now is put the screw through the back, which is what I think I shall do at this point. Okay, we got the back mounted onto the legs. Next thing I need to do is just trim off this little wing here. So I'm going to flip the table on its upside down, and then I'll just use my trim saw, flush trim saw, and take that off. Just going to take that little ear off. Flush trim on that cut. Do the same thing on the other side. So I'm quite pleased with the results that I've got at this end. We're reasonably flush all through here. Got a nice clean edge there. On this side, I think I have a little bit of work to do. When I was cutting this leg, this angle here is not quite right, so it actually slopes out. And you can see that here. Maybe you can. It's just a little bit proud at the bottom. I have the room where I can remove it here, so I'm just going to sand a little bit off that. Up here we're okay, along here, but the top part is all good. It's just a little bit of proudness that I don't like here, manifested both on the back and on the front of the shelf. It's just a little bit extra. So I'm going to take care of that, and then we'll get on to bending the banding that'll go around the top, around the front rather. All right, so just finished doing that sanding, and I'm much happier with that. We have a nice flush finish all through here. For the little effort that took, well worth it. All right, let's get on to bending some wood. All right, so here we are with my wood bending jig, my little luthier issue. So I've got a little MAPP gas running through a little torch into a tube that's heated here. So I'm just going to get this fired up. And then turn it down to a very, very low heat. We'll let that tube heat up, which won't take long at all. I'm taking one of our pieces out of the tray that it's been soaking in. You can already feel that steaming a little bit as it sits on that pipe. So I haven't usually been in the habit of soaking the wood. I haven't had to do that, but it seems that this elm wood that I'm using is extremely dry. I mean, it has been sitting in a barn for 100 years, so it should have dried out by now. So hence the soaking to try and get some moisture back in it. And I'm just going to go very slow and apply a little pressure. And I can already feel it relaxing and bending. Doesn't take much. But it also breaks. So have to be really careful with this stuff. Yeah, it's just breaking. I may have a problem here. Wow, that is just extremely fragile right now. Much more so than it was without being soaked. I am getting some bending, as you can see here. It's going really slow, seems to be the ticket. And very gentle pressure. Oh, look at that. A little too much already, just bam. And I might have to rethink this whole process. And get a little wee bit of a bend, but boy, oh boy, oh boy. The wood just seems to be falling apart on me. We'll check it out, see how it fits on the piece. Well, you know, we might be able to make it work. Oh boy. Maybe not. Trying with a fresh piece, just going really slow and very, very, very gentle pressure. See if we can make this work. Oops. Too much pressure and I broke it. Oops, broke it again. Wow. I'm going to try that technique to do a little rocking and see if we get any better results. Sorry, bumping you here. It's very difficult not to apply too much pressure. Okay, we made a noble effort to try and bend this elm, but it is just a little too fragile. I just have pieces breaking left, right, and center. So I'm going to try another tack. I figure that this elm has been dry for so long that all of the resins that were present in the wood are just long gone, and there's nothing left but just the dried wood fibers. So there's no way it's going to bend even after soaking it for about 24 hours. So I'm going to take a piece of oak, since this wood really is close in wood grain appearance to oak. I'm going to cut off some strips of oak, relatively newer wood, and see if we can bend that any easier. So I'll come back when I got some strips ready to bend. All right, I've got you up here on the bench, and I've got some oak, a strip of oak here. So we're going to try bending this as opposed to bending the elm, and just see how much of a difference that makes. I'm just going to get the oak a little damp. If nothing else, it just kind of prevents burning a little bit. But we'll just see if a newer piece of oak will bend better than some very, very, very old dry elm. Already getting a bit of a curve on that. Oh yeah, look at that. That's much, much, much better. Significantly. Don't know if you can see that curve, but that's just really shaping nicely. That's what I expected to get from the elm, but I guess it was just too dry. That's just coming along beautifully. Okay, so we have a nice curve there all the way around. We're just going to go see how that fits on the table. That fits really well. I'm going to take you over for a look. So just that one simple bend where we've gone really nicely around a little bit there. We're going to cut off, of course, where that gets squared. And coming around here, we're in pretty good shape too. It's pliable enough at this point that we'll be able to tack it down and glue it in place. So very, very, very happy with those results. And as you can see, the grain of the oak is really similar to the grain of the elm. The oak is also a little bit harder, so on the front of the table here, on the top, where we're going to have just a little wee bit of a lip, it'll be nicer to have a stronger wood there. Okay, I'm going to put the second piece of oak that we cut and get a band ready for that, or start making the band. So this is our second band that we're putting together, and as I move that, I can just feel it relaxing a bit. You can see the curve already. It's real time. And I've just put a little bit of water on this wood to get a little bit of steam. All right, we'll go give that a test fit. Didn't that fit very well, but I'm just going to give a little bit more of a bend right in here, just a little wee bit. All right, I'm very happy with the banding that I have there. I'll give this a chance to cool down. I'm going to bring you over for a closer look. So this piece will just fit on here nicely. We're getting a real good fit right in there. As it comes around, it's just, yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue and tack this in place, and then we'll give it a little bit of a finish after. I may have cut these strips just a little too thin, so I don't have much of a lip there. Got a little wee bit of a lip, but not much. But it might be enough. All right, got the first band on all the way around. I'm happy with the result of that. We'll need to cut a little piece for down here, but I'll do that after the glue is set. Put that piece in and cut that off. So I'm just going to put the band on this lower leg, or lower table, sorry, the bottom of the table. And I'll come back when I have that all in place. Okay, so we are banded on top and bottom shelf. What I'm going to do is just put in some wood filler and all these little tack holes where we use the hammer. Okay, our banding is in place. Put on the little tail ends here. Just getting that all set up. I really do like this look. Just coming over the front here, right? That really finishes it nicely. And we got them set over here, just letting that set up. And we'll do some a little bit of fill on those nail holes and some sanding, get all that smooth. So, next step will be cutting the doors to fit the width there. So first step in dealing with these doors, okay, not the first step, but the next step in dealing with the doors is cutting them to the appropriate width. So I'm making this just I'll call it a generous 4 1/4. It'll be a 32nd of an inch beyond that. That'll be a nicely finished door. Let's see how it fits. So a little bit of adjusting for clearance. It's going to be a good fit. Maybe a little bit of adjusting here and there, but it'll be a good fit. Of course, we have to cut it to length. So cut it there. Make a cut there so that the hinges will fit. And it can close up tight, but that's a good first start. So I'll do the same cut on the other door. So I'm into a little bit of a trial and error. Actually, I wouldn't say trial and error, it's kind of more nibbling up to the appropriate cut. So I've cut this back end of the door, and that's right where I want it to be. And then coming up here to the front, a little bit tough to see, but you can see here's our leg. And as the door closes in on that, so as the door closes in on that, if I cut it right here, it would meet the leg, but I'm actually going to have to come back a little bit, maybe to about here, so that as the door closes, it fits right in. So I'm going to, like I say, nibble up to that. My first cut is going to be just a little bit beyond that pencil mark, about where my thumbnail is. And then we'll come back and do another fit. And we'll kind of keep doing that until the door closes and sits where I want it to be. So I took that initial cut where my thumbnail was, and then I've taken 1/8 of an inch beyond that. And you can see that I still have some room to go. So I'll take another 1/8. I'll probably wind up getting right to that crack there. So I'll take 1/8, do a test fit, then I'll probably take another 1/8 at least. And that is pretty much the fit I'm looking for. So we're just flush there. Yeah, a little bit of room back there. So there's a little bit of fine tuning to be done, but that'll happen after I have the hinge installed. I'm expecting I'll probably take a little bit more off here. Overall though, I like the look of that. That's a close fit. So now we'll do the door for the other side. Okay, I used the same technique to kind of creep up on the cuts that we want, the size that we wanted, and I'm happy with that fit end to end. I will take a little bit more off here when the hinge gets put in, and of course clean that up when the hinge gets put in. But overall, I like the look. I think that turned out well. So I'm going to finish up with these little pieces now that the glue's had a chance to set up. So I'm going to do a little bit of filling and sanding. This table will not have a little ridge on the top, so won't be suitable for a marble collection. But we'll get that all cleaned up now. All right, so we just finished up with sanding of the banding. Cleaned up the top a little bit, cleaned up the back, cleaned up the banding on the lower shelf. And of course, we have the doors cut and fitted. There'll be a little bit of adjustment to do yet. Hinges installed, but fundamentally we're at the point of install the hinges and then start the stain. So I'm going to call that a video today, assembly complete, with the minor exception of mounting hinges. And then, so next video we'll get the hinges on the doors and we'll do the staining. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Like and subscribe.